David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, the breaking news, the chilling new details, and the disappearance of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother. Authorities believe 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was taken from her Tucson home against her will during the night. What we're now learning, and questions tonight about DNA, about any potential surveillance video, a missing camera in front of the home. Tonight, the sheriff is asked about reports of any possible ransom demands and whether Savannah Guthrie's mother was targeted, what they're now saying. And more than 60 hours after she was taken, growing concern tonight about the critical medication left behind. Also breaking tonight, an American fighter jet shoots down an Iranian drone late today. What President Trump is now saying about Iran. Martha Raddatz standing by with new reporting. The breaking news from Minneapolis tonight, multiple officials now telling ABC News 8 more federal prosecutors are set to resign in Minnesota over the handling of the deadly shootings of the mother of 3, Renee Good, and ICU nurse Alex Pretti. Tonight, President Trump doubling down on his calls for Republicans to take over elections, to nationalize elections in this country. And it comes tonight amid new images of that FBI raid in Fulton County, Georgia, nearly 5 years after Trump lost to Joe Biden. Tonight, the news involving our parent company, Disney. The new CEO is named. Josh D'Amaro will succeed Bob Iger after nearly 20 years as CEO. Tonight, our interview with Bob Iger and Josh D'Amaro on artificial intelligence, the new Disney theme park, the streaming wars, and how to keep Walt Disney's dream of bringing joy and connection to American life alive in these new times. The other news tonight, former First Lady Jill Biden's ex-husband arrested and charged with murder. U.S. Olympic skier Lindsey Vonn revealing the major injury after crashing on the slopes, airlifted out. What this now means for the Olympics just days away, what she is saying tonight. We're also tracking 2 new winter storms, the Midwest and the Northeast, and the Diane Sawyer special right here tonight. This is Chilling and Brave, and what's coming this evening.
From ABC News, this is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting tonight from Los Angeles.
Good evening. We do begin tonight with the urgent search and the race against time now to find the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. The sheriff in Pima County, Arizona, believes 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home against her will. It has now been more than 60 hours since Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home, reported missing by her family when she didn't show up for church on Sunday morning. The sheriff says family members last saw her at her home in Tucson around 9:30 Saturday night. There is growing concern tonight about the critical medications she left behind. She needs to take it daily, and authorities say her life depends on it. Tonight, the sheriff acknowledging there remain many questions in this case, desperately searching now for any possible suspect DNA at the scene, the need now for surveillance video, word of a missing camera at the home. And tonight, the sheriff's response right here when he was asked about any possible ransom demands for Nancy Guthrie and whether she was targeted. And tonight, Savannah Guthrie thanking everyone for their support and asking them to please pray and bring her home. ABC's Trevor Ault leads us off from Tucson tonight.
Tonight, mounting frustration in the search for Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie, now missing for nearly 3 days as investigators say she was abducted in the middle of the night. But they still have no idea who took her or how many suspects could be involved.
No clue. It could have been one, it could have been more. I don't know.
The sheriff has said Guthrie relies on daily medication that was left behind at the house, and 24 hours without it could be fatal. Now more than 60 hours since she was taken, the sheriff asked if they're searching for someone who is still alive.
We hope we are. We hope we are.
Tonight, the sheriff's office tells ABC News it's reviewing possible ransom notes sent to TV stations and forwarded to police, working to determine if they're legitimate. Earlier today, we asked the sheriff about ransom notes.
You said we're following all leads. Does that mean a ransom has come in?
We are following all leads we have. That's all I can tell you.
Love you. We love you.
Nancy Guthrie has frequently appeared on her daughter's show.
Is there any indication so far as to whether this was a random abduction or targeted?
We're looking at all the leads, And we don't know. We're going to assume both sides of that. We'll look at both sides of that.
The sheriff's office tells me they've received hundreds of tips. And while there are security cameras at the home, they still haven't been able to access the footage. And one camera that was attached to the front of the house is missing. The sheriff says so far no DNA results have identified any suspects.
And David, the FBI is also assisting in this investigation, analyzing cell phones and conducting interviews. And Savannah Guthrie has posted on social media asking for prayers and writing, "Bring her home." David.
A lot of people praying for Savannah and her mother tonight. Trevor Ault leading us off. Trevor, thank you. Also developing at this hour, escalating tensions between the U.S. and Iran. U.S. Central Command reporting an American fighter jet has now shot down an Iranian drone approaching the USS Abraham Lincoln. And late today, what President Trump is now saying about Iran. Here's Martha Raddatz.
The USS carrier Lincoln was some 500 miles from Iran's southern coast in international waters when U.S. Central Command says an Iranian drone aggressively approached the carrier with unclear intent. Despite attempts to de-escalate the situation by U.S. forces, they say the drone continued its approach toward the ship, and a U.S. F-35 fighter jet shot it down. President Trump has made it clear he will take military action against Iran if they do not negotiate a deal on their nuclear program or support of proxy groups.
They are negotiating. They'd like to do something, and we'll see if something is going to be done. They had a chance to do something a while ago, and it didn't work out.
But hours after the drone was shot down, the president said negotiations with Iran planned for later this week in Turkey will continue.
President Trump is always wanting to pursue diplomacy first, but obviously it takes two to tango.
And David, the Iranians say they want a diplomatic solution as well. And yet hours after the drone was shot down, another drone and multiple Iranian boats were harassing a U.S. flagged tanker, prompting a U.S. destroyer to come to its aid. So, David, the tensions do remain high. David?
Martha Raddatz live in Washington. Martha, thank you. There was also breaking news from Minneapolis tonight. Multiple officials now telling ABC News that 8 more federal prosecutors are now set to resign in Minnesota, angry over the handling of the investigations into the deadly shootings of Renee Good, that mother of 3, and that ICU nurse, Alex Pretti. ABC's Matt Rivers again tonight from Minneapolis.
Tonight, an exodus at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota amid growing frustrations over the handling of the killings of mother of 3 Renee Good and ICU nurse Alex Pretti. Multiple officials telling ABC News 8 more federal prosecutors are set to resign after 6 other prosecutors left last month. And late today, emotional testimony on Capitol Hill. Renee Good's brothers demanding justice.
We're here to ask for your help.
Renee's brother Luke saying he struggles to explain the actions of agents to his 4-year-old daughter.
These encounters with federal agents are changing the community and changing many lives, including ours, forever.
The brothers joining several others detailing what they call patterns of abuse by federal agents across the city. A DHS spokesperson responding to the testimony late tonight saying in part, quote, politicians are laying blame at the feet of law enforcement instead of looking in the mirror. And David, Borders Czar Tom Homan, now overseeing federal operations here in Minneapolis, set to hold a press conference here tomorrow morning. David?
All right, Matt Rivers with us live from Minneapolis. Matt, thank you. Tonight, President Trump doubling down on his calls for Republicans to take over elections, to nationalize elections in this country. The president remains focused on the 2020 election more than 5 years ago, the election he lost to Joe Biden. And tonight, this all comes amid new images of that FBI raid in Fulton County, Georgia, taking away boxes of ballots. Georgia says they had multiple recounts. They have nothing to hide. Rachel Scott at the White House.
So we have the right to be here?
Tonight, new video of the moments FBI agents raided the election office in Fulton County, Georgia, to seize ballots and voting records from the 2020 election.
One way or the other, the records are coming with us today.
Agents later speaking with President Trump, who falsely claims he won Georgia in 2020. Fulton County Commissioner today saying the president can't accept the fact that he lost.
If they believe that Fulton County is a hotbed of fraud, why are they only looking at the 2020 election? Why not look at the 2024 election where he won? Why not look at the 2016 election where he won? Right? Because he likes the outcome.
Former President Joe Biden won the 2020 election by 7 million votes, and the Electoral College 306 to 232. Today, surrounded by top Republicans, President Trump doubled down on his call for the federal government to take over elections. even though the Constitution says that's a job for the states.
If a state can't run an election, I think the people behind me should do something about it. Because, you know, if you think about it, a state is an agent for the federal government in elections. I don't know why the federal government doesn't do them anyway.
Those Republicans were in the Oval Office as the president signed a bill to end the partial government shutdown, keeping agencies running until the end of the year. Meanwhile, discussions with the White House do continue on Democrat demands to reform immigration enforcement. David.
All right, Rachel Scott live from the White House tonight. Rachel, thank you. There is news tonight involving our parent company, Disney. The new CEO has been chosen by the Disney board. Josh D'Amaro will succeed Bob Iger on March 18th after Bob's nearly 20 years as CEO. Tonight, our interview here with Bob Iger and Josh D'Amaro on artificial intelligence, the new Disney theme park, streaming Disney Plus, and about Walt Disney's original dream of bringing joy and connection to American life. Gentlemen, thank you for doing this, for sitting down with me. I guess I have to say congratulations to you both.
That would be appropriate.
Yeah, an incredible tenure and a new chapter begins. I was thinking about people watching at home and thought I would ask about them first, because I think everybody has, you know, a Disney childhood memory, a favorite Disney movie, a favorite Disney character through the years, a trip to Disney World or Disneyland. But people at home also see how quickly things are changing. Technology, society, people with their phones, the competition for our attention. And I'm curious, Bob, what you think the next CEO has to do, and soon, to make sure that these childhood Disney memories are still a part of American life for years going forward.
Well, I think you touch upon something that is critical in terms of what the next CEO appreciates and what the next CEO is capable of doing. And that is truly, truly appreciating Disney's position in the world and to people. Disney's not just another company. Disney really is a cultural institution that has touched hundreds of millions of people for now over 100 years. And having that appreciation, knowing the place Disney occupies in people's lives, I think is essential to anyone occupying this position in terms of their ability to move the company forward, that careful balance between legacy and innovation.
Is that the challenge, Josh, for you, that balance?
Well, I think I've been at the company now for 27 years. I've had the great benefit and the great honor of working with Bob for all of those years, first from a distance and now much more up close and personal. And I've watched probably the best of the best balance those two things. As Bob talks about being close to the fans and the guests, this is something that's important to me. I spend a lot of time in our beloved parks that hundreds of millions of people enjoy every year, and I see firsthand the importance of the brand, what Disney means to them, what it means to these families. And when you feel that and you understand the legacy of this place and the fact that you need to keep pushing forward and being innovative, I think I'm ready for that challenge, but I've learned from the best of the best.
You know, we sit here in the theater that Walt Disney originally built, and we're all familiar with what Walt did. This new documentary, Handcrafted, really shows just the incredible risk-taking that Walt went through. He leveraged everything. He leveraged his home to build Disneyland in a year. You're sitting next to a man who's led this company for nearly 20 years. With significant risk-taking, billions of dollars in acquisitions for Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilms, 21st Century Fox. And as you sit here, the new CEO, I'm curious what your appetite is for risk-taking, and how do you meet the moment?
First, you're reminding me that I'm sitting next to Bob Iger, one of the best CEOs of all time. It's a bit intimidating.
We know each other well, Josh.
We do know we know each other well. But Bob's a big risk taker. I'm a big risk taker, and that's been true my whole life with how I've approached growing as an individual to how I've approached the business world. And I think you see that on full display today. I mean, just several months ago, we announced a massive expansion in a new part of the world, in Abu Dhabi. We did that quickly, we did it ambitiously, and we knew there was a new part of the world to serve.
And this is the first new theme park in 15 years for Disney. What's the challenge in building the first in the Middle East and in a place where you don't control everything?
Bob has, for quite a long time, thought about the Middle East as a place that we'd like to grow. And when he came back, we had an opportunity to sit down and say, let's go for this. Can we find the right partner? Is this the right part of the world? And we quickly determined, yes. We have a great partner that we're working with, and this part of the world represents a population that is young, that is huge. In fact, within a 4-hour flight radius of Abu Dhabi, a third of the world's population is there.
I saw that image of you, Bob, that you posted.
Yes, walking on the property that will one day be Disneyland. When Josh and I first visited, we stood on that same property, and you look at the water, and you look at the sand, you look at the place that you're in, and you dream big, big ambition, and you think, well, we can do this.
Let me ask about another bet. Disney recently made news for this $1 billion bet in OpenAI, artificial intelligence. People at home certainly know about artificial intelligence, the risks, the rewards. It's made some folks, uneasy about where we're headed. It's going to allow, people who are on social media create their own videos with Disney characters from, Star Wars, what have you, from Elsa to Mickey Mouse. I'm just curious, Bob, how you go about stepping in that direction while at the same time protecting the Disney character, protecting the humans behind the character who created it, the actors, while also embracing where we're all headed.
I'm glad you raised that, because one of the reasons Josh was chosen for this position is I've observed him over the years that we've worked together as someone that views technology as an opportunity and not a threat. And I believe that is critical, because when you look at the history of human beings, no generation of human being has ever been able to stand in the way of technological advance. It happens.
The reason this company is so special is because of how creative we are and the human beings that are generating that creativity. In my mind, that never gets replaced. And in fact, this isn't even theory anymore. This is real. Like AI, to Bob's point, is here, and it's something that we're embracing, and you're seeing it supercharge these creatives in amazing ways. And they've embraced artificial intelligence. If you were to walk over to their studios today and see them using AI, harnessing 70 years of history, this is when the Walt Disney Company thrives, when technology intersects with brilliant people and creativity, and we're in that moment right now.
Let me ask you about the streaming wars. In the news today of our new CEO here at Disney, Disney also made quite a statement about the importance of streaming and entertainment as this company moves forward, with the elevation of Dana Walden to the first ever president and chief creative officer of Disney. Josh, I'm curious what you see in this new role at Disney, and what are you hoping for from Dana Walden?
Well, I'll start with Dana Walden. She is an incredibly powerful executive. She's got years and years of experience in this space. She's exceptionally creative, and she's a great human being. And I think it's absolutely the right step to continue to push us into this next frontier.
Your contract's up at the end of the year?
Yes, it is.
A lot of people are wondering, how quickly do you pass the reins, and what does this look like for you in these next few months?
Well, I'll be stepping down as CEO on March 18th. I'll be an employee of the company and an advisor through the end of this calendar year. And I will be available on call should anyone want any advice from me.
I'll call him.
And he plans to. As we walk the Disney lot, both men aware of the weight of this role. You joke the weight on your shoulders. Is it a little lighter today?
It is. It is. Yeah, you can't just turn the switch off one day on something that you've been so involved with, and it's such an important part of your life. But I'm just looking forward to quieter moments and quieter days and a little bit more, room in my life.
But we know Bob Iger, it's not going to be too quiet, if I had to guess. And for you, conversely, is the weight a little heavier?
Yeah, the responsibility, the sense of responsibility that I have for this role and this company. Of course, I feel the weight on my shoulders. I think I should feel it, but I just feel so fortunate to be in a position to be able to be that next steward for the brand into the next 100 years.
Well, 28 years and many more to come. Congrats, Josh. Well earned.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Bob. CEO Bob Iger and his successor Josh D'Amaro today. Our congratulations to Josh D'Amaro, the new CEO, and to Dana Walton, the first president and chief creative officer for the Walt Disney Company. We're in good hands. When we come back here tonight, Diane Sawyer special coming up tonight. It is chilling and brave. Also ahead, former First Lady Jill Biden's ex-husband has been arrested tonight. She was married to him when she was a young woman. He's now been charged with murdering his wife. What we're learning about his arrest tonight in a moment. Also, we're tracking these new storms moving in the Northeast to get hit again, and then the bitter cold, the forecast coming up here. And tonight, the news coming in on Lindsey Vonn now, revealing the scope of her injury from that crash. We watched as she was being airlifted off the slopes, and what she's now saying tonight, just days before the Olympics. A lot more news ahead here in a moment. Tonight, we're tracking snow and brutal cold moving into the Northeast yet again. Snow expected on Friday in interior New England. Higher snow totals across New England through Saturday. For the third weekend in a row, bitter cold temperatures in the teens in New York and Boston. When we come back tonight, former First Lady Jill Biden's ex-husband has been arrested, charged with murder. And U.S. ski champion Lindsey Vonn tonight now revealing her injury after that crash and being airlifted and what it means for the Olympics in just days. To the Index, former First Lady Jill Biden's ex-husband now facing murder charges in the death of his current wife, William Stevenson, accused of killing his wife during a domestic dispute in Wilmington, Delaware in December. William Stevenson and Jill Biden divorced in 1975. There's no comment from the Bidens. U.S. Olympic skier Lindsey Vonn revealing her injury but vowing she will compete in the Winter Olympics despite crashing and being airlifted, rupturing her ACL in her left knee. Vonn, who is 41, today she acknowledged her hopes aren't as high as before, but saying, as long as there's a chance, I'll try. Her first race is on Sunday. When we come back here, a first look at Diane Sawyer's special coming up tonight right here. Before we go tonight, a note about Diane Sawyer's special later tonight here on ABC. The Turpins, a new house of horrors, the stunning new turn for the Turpin siblings. 3 more coming forward and what they reveal to Diane. Here's a preview. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
The story that shocked the nation.
13 siblings held captive by their parents.
The Turpin family, a house of horror. Then the escape.
I don't know how you had the courage.
Now, for the first time, 3 of the youngest Turpin children on how the horror happened a second time in a foster home where they were supposed to be safe.
It was a nightmare.
How is this possible?
The Diane Sawyer special event.
Something good needs to come from this.
Tonight on ABC and stream on Disney Plus and Hulu. David Muir, the most trusted anchor in America, the most watched anchor in America. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir the #1 newscast in America.